Hey there! Before we jump into today's episode of the 20 Volume Effect, just a quick note. This conversation was recorded last summer, but the insights are every bit as relevant today. In fact, since this recording, Misty Krant and the team at Harlow Beauty have continued to raise the bar. Harlow has once again been recognized by Salon Today 200, marking their fifth consecutive year receiving this prestigious industry honor. And as you'll hear throughout our conversation, that kind of success doesn't happen by accident. Misty shares her journey from stylist to salon owner, the lessons she's learned about leadership, profitability, team culture, and building a business that creates both opportunity and freedom. So whether you're growing a salon, leading a team, or working to build a business that better supports your life and long-term goals, I think you'll find a ton of wisdom in this conversation. So enjoy Profit, People, and Possibility. Misty Krant on leadership, growth, and freedom. Welcome, everybody. I am Kristen Stutz, and we are here with the 20 Volume Effect. So excited today to have Misty Krant from Harlow Beauty in Austin, Texas, joining us today to share stories of success. And as always, for any owner, there's successes and there are always a few bumps along the road. So Misty's going to share her journey with us. And we've got so much to learn from Misty. So Misty, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure. So why don't we kick it off? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, goodness. Where do we start? Well, I am a salon owner in Austin, Texas. I have owned Harlow Beauty for 10 years now, going on 11. That's not all that I am. I'm a mother too, technically an empty nester. You and I have talked about this
Yes.
a little bit. I'm a 24-year-old, 22-year-old, and a almost 21-year-old. So that was exciting, building a career and being a mother and a wife and all the things. But I have an amazing husband who was a great partner in all of that too. So, yeah, born and raised in Austin.
Love it. Tell me, how did you get your start in the beauty business?
Oh my goodness. So from the time I was a little girl, I was obsessed with fashion. I always wanted to be in fashion in some way, shape, or form. And I think I thought, I would be some designer or something like that, but that just didn't, we all know how that goes.
Yep.
But I was always that girl, styling my friends' hair. They were wearing my clothes, doing all of those things. So when I graduated high school, I knew I needed to make money ultimately. And going to college and being in debt was not on the table for me. It actually didn't even sound great. My parents couldn't pay for college. So cosmetology school was the route that I was going to take. And unbeknownst to me, whenever I came to my parents with this, my dad was not happy about it.
I understand.
Yeah, he felt like this career was not a career, right? He felt like it was a hobby and thought that I was too smart.
Yep.
Well, that in itself, my mom was very supportive. She was always supportive in whatever I wanted to do. But with my dad being that way, it sort of fueled something in me.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, because I like to prove people wrong.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
That's
fascinating.
who I am. So I wanted to prove him wrong, and I decided to go to cosmetology school. And I wanted to create something. I knew even in cosmetology school that I wanted to be a salon owner, mainly just basically what I was seeing in the career, especially back then, like in the industry. There weren't, especially in Austin, honestly, there weren't a lot of commission salons
Sure.
that you could go work in and actually have work-life balance or be treated the way that you were supposed to be treated. I hate even saying that and bringing that up, but everybody in the industry knows that's true.
Yep.
And when I saw that, I knew that I could do better and I wanted to do better. I wanted I never wanted somebody to be looked at the way that I was looked at by my dad
Mhm.
when they're telling them that they want to go to cosmetology school. I want parents to be excited, and I wanted to figure out how to create a real life and a real career
Yeah.
in the industry. So that's
I
where my ideas from Harlow first started. And
I
they
love
started
it.
early on. I had no idea what I was going to do that.
Yeah, totally. I
I
love
was
it. It's really interesting. My background, obviously, I was a stylist and salon owner as well. Um, and I would say I kind of fell into it. I was 3.5 years into college, and I joke, I majored in the three B's, beer, booze, and boys.
yes.
And I was on the dean's list for that. I was knocking it out of the park, right? But I was receptioning in a salon, and I loved it. And rewinding back, I was a model for, not like, a model, but like a hair model for the woman who had done my hair and for years. And so looking back, I was like, yeah, okay, I always loved this. I would get, Barbies, and the only thing I wanted to do, I didn't really want to play with them. I wanted to chop their hair off when I was little. So it
Yeah.
was really evident, right? That was the path. Kate McKinnon in the Barbie movie, I was like, yep, that was my Barbie right there, man. Weird Barbie. I was all over that.
That's
But
amazing.
when I told my parents, it was kind of the same thing. I ended up apprenticing in a salon and taking time off of college. And that's in the state of Wisconsin. That's how you could get a license. And so for me, it was fantastic. I was, like I said, 3.5 years through college. So I already had college debt, and, finding a way to actually have that career, it was amazing. And yet I found myself for years. I think really until I was a salon owner, where I would say, people would ask me, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I would say, "Oh, I just do hair." Just. And I think about it now, and it breaks my heart. And so I love that you were fueled in the opposite direction of like, I'm going to prove you wrong, where I was kind of hiding behind that and thinking that it wasn't, I was letting the stereotype and stigma hold me back and feel something that should not have been. And so I'm curious, do you think now that there's still that stigma in the industry?
I would like to say that there isn't, but I definitely know that there still is. And it's not like it once was. We have definitely come a long way. But I still, there are so many moments as a salon owner when I tell people who aren't really familiar with the industry at all, they'll say, when I tell them that I'm not behind the chair any longer, because I came out from behind the chair 3 years ago, and they will look at me and they're like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And
Oh,
I think,
nothing.
I mean, it's the funniest question because how do you what does anyone do when they're running a business?
Everything.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, what? I mean, and
Yeah.
I even had one lady, and I know she didn't mean anything by it. And because my husband and I built a house 2 years ago, and we were showing it to a group of people in our neighborhood, and this one woman said, "Oh, why do you need an office?"
Wow.
And in that moment,
Wow.
I know, in that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, it's still like there's
Still
still
there.
lingering things, right?
Yep.
Now, instead of it doesn't irritate me like that. When I was younger, it definitely did. Like the phrase you said, "Oh, I'm just a stylist." I mean,
Yep.
people would, "Oh, you just do hair."
Yep.
Well, yeah, I guess I just do hair,
Yeah. It's
But I
crazy.
don't let it bother me. I just use it as an opportunity to really try to educate them.
Yeah. I love it. That's great.
Yeah,
That's great. And
because
I, and
I
I feel like for me, that's kind of how I wound up here and really wanting to embrace the industry from a financial planning perspective of like, it's so much more than what people see. And, if we can have that extra financial education and really continue to lift up the industry in a whole on an area that I feel personally is really underserved. We just, as a society in general, we don't talk about money enough. We don't, in polite company, you don't talk about politics, religion, or money, right? But
yeah,
we have to. And so
agree.
that's why I'm so happy to be able to serve the industry in that level and just really help to lift everyone up. So I hope that we are on the trend that we continue to lift the level up and everyone sees us as us. Like I'm still behind the chair, but, sees us as professionals, the professionals that
I
you
agree.
all are. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Once again, and I appreciate what you're doing too, and talking about money because I think that's also something that in this industry, especially as salon owners, we don't talk a lot about money, and we for whatever reason, I think especially in the beginning, we feel like we have to know everything, and we
Right.
feel like we have to be the one with all the answers, and that's not true. And
Yeah.
it's okay to say I don't know, and to find a community of people to learn, because I didn't know shit. Excuse me. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, that's the truth, right? I
yeah,
mean, and that is really one of the beauties of being in the beauty business is you can open the doors to a business and really functionally have a very successful business and not understand the numbers at all. But it is your responsibility as the owner to get that education, right?
absolutely. And you can maybe not understand the numbers for a period
For a
of time.
bit.
That's gonna get you so far.
Exactly. Yep.
It's gonna only get you so far.
That's exactly right. So tell me, so you went through beauty school and you had this mission where, I'm going to prove my dad wrong and I'm going to show him what a successful, stylist, salon owner, business owner really looks like.
So ultimately, crazy thing, I did start out at Tony and Guy. I got Tony
Okay.
education, and I worked in a Tony and Guy salon for a hot minute until someone asked me to clean baseboards. And then I was like, you're out of your mind. This is not what I went to school for. So with that being said, I actually was an independent contractor from the jump. So I built
Wow.
my career independently in a salon, not a suite. It was in a salon of independent stylists. And that was honestly where I realized that I really loved the numbers and the business aspect. And it opened my eyes to see that not only did my technical matter, but understanding business mattered.
Yes.
So that's where that was born on a very small scale, being an independent contractor. I then opened a very small chair, like a 4-chair salon. And I opened that for 3 years in a little town called Round Rock, Texas. I was partnered with a friend at the time, and a lot of life changes happened. And so at the end of our 3-year lease, it just wasn't, it was a booth rental salon.
Okay.
And we just dissolved it, closed it, and that was it. So that
Gotcha.
was my first, and I would call it a failure. I learned a lot from it,
Yeah,
and I needed that stepping stone to get to where I wanted to go and where I,
absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. So how do you recover then from we're closing the doors here and now I'm transitioning out to where you are now?
So I moved into Austin because I had met my now then husband. And I moved into Austin, and I went to another booth rental salon in Austin. And that is where I met my business partner. We worked together for 1 year. And then we decided to open what is now Harlow, but it was originally called Tarver Hill Salon. And we opened in 2015. And I had big dreams, enough confidence, and a whole lot of audacity. And all of that was free. So I said, why not?
Yeah, I love it. I love, I have been, and I think you and I have talked about this before. I've just been circling around that word of being audacious and how wonderful it is. And I think sometimes people associate audaciousness with like ego or fearlessness or and I don't think it's any of those. I think it's just maybe being bold enough to do it with all that fear, anxiety, nervousness, uncertainty right behind you and just saying, I'm going all in and I'm giving it my all.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe delusion. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so we found a space, and we opened. We opened in January of 2015 after our build out, and that was the birth of this journey. And it has been a great one for sure. Lots of pros and cons.
Yeah. So tell me, when you opened Harlow Beauty, how many people did you employ then at that point? And are you booth rent? Since that's
Okay.
where you came from.
Yes. So we did have a very different business model when we first opened. We were hybrid. So okay, I'll start from here. My business partner was a commission salon stylist her entire career. She had just gone into booth rental when I met her, and I had always been independent. So I think we thought that our business partnership would work really well because we knew each other just from business, right? We weren't really good friends or we didn't do a whole lot outside of the salon. So I felt like I needed to learn from her the commission structure. And so we did a hybrid model and we brought in booth renters because we needed to be able to cover the rent. And then we started we started training associates
Okay.
as commission stylists.
Gotcha.
I looked and searched for business education, business support from our brand partners. And my background is with L'Oreal originally. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wasn't getting a whole lot of help from anyone.
Sure.
We went through so many brands in the first 3 years. It was like I had whiplash. I did.
And I bet your team loved that too.
Yeah. And honestly, then within the first 3 years, we brought in Aveda.
Yep.
And they wanted to convert everyone to commission off the bat. So I never really saw it, and I see it this way now, but we had a slow trickle walkout. So because our booth renters did not want to convert, which I get that. Like that was a really hard transition. I do still have one stylist with me who followed me. She's with me to this day. She's a commission stylist and she's more successful than she's ever been. She's the one that stayed with me.
I love it. That's great.
None for dear life. But after that, we slowly recovered and we left Aveda. And that's when I found Euphora. Euphora was the one company that came in with all of their business education and their support, and they never wavered and they turned the company around. I mean, by year 4, we had gone from having like, I think if I can recall the numbers correctly, I think we had a 3% RTS.
Okay.
And within 6 months, it shot up to 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really fantastic.
Yeah. So with Euphora, and that, that's small stuff because now I think we're doing 42% RTS.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you single branded then with Euphora?
So we aren't. Euphora is our main brand partner. We carry their color, everything, but we do have Kerastase. We brought in Kerastase 2 years ago just to cover some holes and some gaps that we were seeing. Some people just like that synthetic feel, on their hair. I can say once I got it off of mine, I don't any longer. Like I can't use that stuff.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
and people just do. And you can't deny that. So,
yes.
But I will say to this day, Euphora they're amazing to us.
I think that's really a key important piece for owners to understand is finding the brand partner, and everybody's going to have a different one, right?
Yeah.
There are a million reasons as to why one brand is right for one business and not right for the other. Finding a brand partner that's right for you is really important. And there's so much to gain from a good, solid partnership where you can, help each other with resources that you need, because you'll help the brand as well by saying, hey, these are some of the things that we really need help from you for, and they'll be able to develop those things for you and vice versa. So I think it's really important for owners to consider who they are partnering with and make sure that they're getting what they need.
Completely. I completely agree with you. I mean, because everyone's going to get something different from different brands, different people. I mean, you align differently with whatever the culture is. It's just like a salon, right? It's like any, so I think that's super important too. Important to find that. It's important in general to find that support because like I said, I mean, most of us who open hair salons, we don't have a business degree. I mean, I feel like I have, School of Hard Knocks business degree now.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be said about the School of Hard Knocks for sure.
But you have to find that support. Otherwise you're not, longevity wise, it's going to be really, really, really hard.
Absolutely. Okay. So you had a slow trickle walkout, so to speak. And at this point now you have everyone who is commission, no renters left.
No.
And so what's your team look like now?
So now we have hired so many people. I was telling you this earlier, and we officially have 24 on the team. I have 3 people who've been with me for 9 years, one who's been with me for 10, 2 others that have been with me for 7, and 2 for 5. So, I mean, I have a pretty longevity wise, but we're building and we're still growing. I bought out my business partner in
Okay.
2021.
Okay, great.
That was part of my journey too.
So I'm curious, going on that stretch, so you bought out your business partner, so you're a solo owner now. For people who are in partnership or thinking about going into partnership, do you have any words of wisdom that you might give them about business partnerships?
Have a buyout agreement.
Agreed. That
Day one.
yes.
Day one. Have a buyout
Yes.
agreement, a legal document, do everything legally.
Yes.
Do not go off emotion
Agreed.
or trust, because it is very similar to a divorce. I'd never been through a divorce, and while it was smooth, I can't say that it was always fair.
Gotcha. Yep.
And I tend to be the type of person to just be like, here, I don't want to deal with the fallout, and wanting to protect my team, because my team was the most important thing to me.
Yes.
And company that had been built. So that was my number one priority.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's, on our side of things, that's something that we really help clients with as well, is making sure twofold. Number one, we see a lot where there are buy-sell agreements, and specifically we look at buy-sell agreements when in the event that one partner might pass away, and then, the spouse typically is the one, and all of a sudden you're in business partnership with a spouse who typically doesn't know anything about the business. And so
Right.
making sure that those types of business partnership agreements are funded, and because otherwise you're also in a tough situation. And I'm sure, on your side of things, doing a buyout, you have to find funding in order to do that, which, makes it difficult as well. So
Right.
now you're on your own, and you've got a great staff, things are growing, and you said you've got growth goals. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So ultimately, I would like to be a multi-location salon. But before I do that, my salon is a large space. So we are 3,000 square feet. That was also the fun part. We expanded during the pandemic, and it turned
Wow.
out to be a
During
blessing.
the pandemic.
Yes.
That's
yes.
amazing. Talk about audacious.
Well, we were expanding 2019. December 2019 is when it started. The construction ended 2 weeks before we were mandated to close. So we had this new side that we were,
Wow.
it was crazy. And I will tell you, I've never worked harder or more hours than I did when we were shut down during the pandemic, mainly for concern for my team, to get them offboarded so they could get the unemployment before it was bombarded. And then really we did Zoom check-ins to make sure everyone's mental health was great. We just kept it twice a week. We did one that was kind of training and checking in, and one that was really checking in on how everyone was doing. And that's when we really got involved in our social media too. Our social media kind of blew up because it had to. We wanted to stay relevant. We wanted people to know we're here. We're going to be here for you when you come back, all of the things. So that was a wild ride. I think it was wild for everyone,
Yeah, absolutely. But it sounds like that you really kind of expanded your leadership chops, so to speak, and really grew as a leader during that time.
I did. And it was funny because sometimes, you're forced to.
Absolutely.
And when you're forced to do things, you either step up or step out. And there was no way I was stepping out.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Great. So did you retain everyone? I'm curious, during COVID, did you retain your whole team?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. I know there are a lot of businesses that did not.
Yeah. No, we did, and actually gained 3.
You hired 3 people during COVID.
3 season stylists, 2, and I still have them except for one.
That's amazing.
One moved to another city, but she was amazing. Love her. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I'm curious, obviously you have great success with staff retention. What do you think your secret is?
I think I'm extremely vulnerable and very transparent. I try to be just as real as possible. I'm that person that if I don't know, I'll tell you, I don't know. I'll figure it out though. Or you want to help me figure this out? I don't want to be the smartest person. I want to surround myself with people who are way smarter than me. I love ideas and I love to be challenged. That's what keeps me accountable. I think we all need accountability, and that's where I get mine is staying on my toes. I mean, if everyone around me was just kind of, then I would be too.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I honestly, that's what I really believe. I don't know. I mean, maybe ask my team.
Yeah. Right. Well, obviously you're doing something right because it's really fantastic.
Thank you.
So the goal is to be multi-location. But you have
Yes.
a big footprint right now.
I do. So we have 3,000 square feet. So I know the numbers that we should be producing before I should open another location. So ultimately, my next big goal, this lease is up in 4 years. And for anyone who doesn't know anything about commercial leasing, well, in the state of Texas, commercial leasing is very different. I pay property taxes. I'm responsible for everything inside that building. If it breaks, whatever. So in my mind, I feel like it's kind of makes no sense to not own the building and just continue to throw all this money at it. So I am actively looking for a commercial building that I can renovate and maybe even larger so that I can put a business in that we feed off of each other, something like that. So that is my next step. I think that's the smartest step.
Great.
And then after that, another location,
Love it. Love it. So 3 locations ideally is the goal.
ideally.
And at
Yes.
least one real estate property, commercial real estate property.
Yes, for the flagship, for sure. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what your existing leadership team is.
So I have a manager, which she is the director of operations. She's amazing. She's the literal well, we'll say left hand. She always corrects me because she's left-handed. So
I love her. Me too.
so left-hand side of my body. She has been with me for 9 years. It'll be 10 very soon. But I mean, she does everything, to be honest. Like every single thing, day-to-day operations, she's in charge of. We have Newly, he's been with us 2 years now. Yeah, oh my gosh, 2 years. He's basically my front desk lead. We call him the director of first impressions.
Love it.
And the two of them are a very dynamic team. They work really well together. He basically possesses every strength that I don't have when it comes to technology. So I am a firm believer in finding people who possess your weaknesses, right? Or your strengths that are your weaknesses and getting them to do things. I have no problem with delegation.
Yep.
I've always said that I think it's one of my superpowers because it's not that big of a deal. I'm so willing to give something to somebody if they want more to do. And if it doesn't go well, then I'll take it back, or we'll try something else, or we'll do it again. I think that's, part of it too, is I'm all about pivoting. It just doesn't bother me. Change, pivoting, whatever needs to happen. It's like, let's go, let's do it. I have a saying and my kids know it. Everything is figure outable.
Everything is figure outable. There's no doubt about it.
I think I just live life that way. Like, okay, let's figure it out.
Without a doubt, that makes for a successful entrepreneur because you're going to have lots of things to figure out.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
I love it. I love it.
Besides those two, we do have, I have a leadership team that I have a social media lead, a maintenance and sanitation lead, and a philanthropy lead. So, and an inventory lead.
A philanthropy lead.
Yes.
I have not heard that before. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So part of Harlow's code of honor and our culture is giving back to the community. And so we like to focus on different things we can do each quarter that has to do with giving back to our community. I think it's a huge part of life. I feel like if you have the means, then you should be doing something to help others. So we find different organizations that we partner with, and we do different things. We're actually working with an organization for Alzheimer's research because my manager's mother was diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. So that it's very close to our hearts. Yeah. So, but we really enjoy doing that. We enjoy getting together as a team, and it's a job in itself to really research and set it up and get the team on board and plan. I mean, it's all about philanthropy, but sometimes I'm always joking because I'm like, she's like a party planner too. So,
It's great. I know one other thing too that's been really important to you that I think sets you apart in the industry. I know you're really passionate in offering great benefits to your employees.
yes. Yes, I am. So that was a huge driving force for me. So I was a single mom for almost 11 years and in the industry as an independent contractor. So I did not have health insurance. I had health insurance that I paid for individually, obviously, because I had a child and you just can't not have health insurance. But I knew the expense that I was bearing for that. So one of my biggest things was to figure out before I was so large that I had to provide benefits. I felt like they deserve it now. Like we all deserve it. As a career, we deserve to have health benefits so that we can go to the doctor, go to the eye doctor, dentist, whenever we need to, without having to worry about a large, you know, bill at the end. So I started researching how could I afford to bring in benefits? And I found PEOs, which is Professional Employment Organization. And I partnered with a PEO through my payroll company. So they're one and the same. So I have HR and all of those things. And we provide medical, dental, vision, 401k. Harlow pays for $100,000 in term life insurance. They have access to attorneys if they need them and a real HR company. So all of my onboarding, everything is done legally. Like they comb through everything. So the
Very
business is also taken care of, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that because it's so important and it's something, I do see the level coming up, year over year that is something that as an industry we're embracing more and I'm really happy to see it. But you definitely have taken it to a higher level than most.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, it's
super
important. Again,
is.
back to this is a career.
It is.
We can make 6+ figures in this industry. And
Definitely.
and I wanted to show other people how to do it. I mean, I think hair is just the gateway to me now that it's just but my passion lies in people.
Yeah.
My people being able to have their dreams and live their dreams and just being able to show people what they're capable of is huge.
So I'm curious, since this is a podcast where we talk beauty and wealth,
yes.
tell me, what do you think is your number one success secret to finance?
Well, really? My number one success secret to finance was finding true profit salon advisors.
Great.
So I have a profit advisor. Okay, let's back up. I jumped ahead a little bit. We'll back up. I read Profit First before I opened the salon. So I have always sort of run my life personally in the same kind of facet with like having different bank accounts and putting money in different buckets. When I read True Profit, it spoke to me big time. I understood it. So I knew that's how I wanted to run the business. I started off that way. It was a little more difficult because there was somebody else involved. So since I have owned the company, it'll be 4 years next month solely. We're a different company.
Gotcha.
I could do what I needed to do, if that makes sense. To no fault of there. I don't like to ever place blame anywhere because I'm just as responsible,
Absolutely.
You things, and that's what happened, right?
Yep.
So, but with that being said, true profit is the biggest thing because you can talk to me all day long about your revenue. I don't care if you're doing $1 million in revenue. Tell me what your profit is.
Yep.
Because if you're not taking any profit and you're not paying yourself,
absolutely,
you got some things to figure out.
Absolutely. Yep. I will scream that from the mountaintops all day long. And, that I think is one of the biggest lessons that new owners and even maybe not even new owners, but owners who don't have the background and understand their financials. They don't understand, number one, what profit really means. So often we hear, I don't understand. My accountant came to me and said, oh, congratulations, you made all this money and now you owe a bunch of taxes. And they're like, but I don't have any money. Well, profit doesn't mean cash, right? And revenue does not equal success by any means. You can have a company with the least healthy balance sheet who's generating revenue like nobody's business. And so, finding the resources to really understand what that means. And I think there's an even larger disconnect where now we see business owners who understand their business financials to a degree, but they also don't understand how those pieces come together in their personal finance and what that means for them. And so, it's so important for us to understand many owners feel like their business is their retirement plan and they're not doing anything along with that, but then they also don't know, they don't have an exit strategy by any means. And so helping them understand how that piece of their asset puzzle really fits in and what they need to do personally and financially in the business is so important. And that's why I love my job.
No, and I agree. And that's why I love what you're doing, because
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. I think that is one of the biggest things too with just in this industry. And I don't know why, but it is. And it's really understanding how the two go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And now, again, I will be fully transparent. I mean, every month can look different. I mean, one month to the next, you're running a different business. You have to understand that too,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, one month, running off a profit first, you're always taking the same amount of profit. So that way, you have profit, and then you've got to run the business on the rest of it, right?
Yep. Regardless of, I call it lumpy income.
Correct.
Because it can go like this out and of no fault of your own, right?
Right. And it can also make it really difficult. At the same
Absolutely.
time, I say one month, it's like, ooh, easy breezy. We're killing it over here. So I don't have to think very much. And the next month I'm over here like in the numbers,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know it ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's being prepared for it as opposed to letting it smack you in the face.
Yep. Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that it's any easier.
Yeah. I love it.
I mean, it doesn't. So,
So what do you feel like, so we know your superpower. What do you feel like is your biggest financial mistake that you have made?
My biggest financial mistake that I made was trusting someone else and not being as aware as I am now.
Sure.
And accruing some bad debt.
Gotcha. Yep. And I see that too across the board, whether it's in business or in marriages, right? In families, even, that where it's so important. In fact, one of my favorite stories of one of my clients, I just love this. I said, I had asked them, married couple, and they've been married a long time. And it was kind of one of our earlier meetings. And I asked them, do you guys pay attention to your spending? And the wife said, I don't pay attention to mine, but I sure pay attention to his. And I thought that was so funny, right? One thing is important to one spouse and maybe not as important to the other. And it's the same thing in business. If you've got multiple people who are running your business, or even if you're a solo owner, but you've got someone who's doing your books and you're only looking at them at the end of the month, well, you didn't do anything to make change or control what was happening. You're just reading data. And so, it's all about changing behaviors and control. So I think that's a really great answer that serves across the board, whether it's in business or family.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's also why we need more people like you, industry specific, who understand it truly though.
Yeah.
And, and I've always said, I mean, it's not that we are special in any way, shape or form, and we are a small business. There is something that comes with salons, that the overhead and the ever changing and the paying out of commission and all of the things, there's different factors, right?
Absolutely.
Which makes it more difficult. It really does make it a difficult business model.
Yeah, I would agree completely. And there's a whole nother language, just like any industry, we've got our own language that we speak and the intricacies. And so being able to speak that language, I think makes a huge difference as well.
Yeah. And, honestly, I feel like it's only been in the last maybe 5 years that there are people who are coming into the industry specific, who are, like you, who are financial advisors, financial planners, whatever they're and I love it because I've had others outside, and to be honest, they talk to me like I'm an idiot. Like and that was back when I was really trying to understand a lot more. And I'm like, well, you're not helping me. Now I'm just going to shut down because
Right.
I'm not understanding what you're saying. I need you to speak to me.
Absolutely.
And what I was talking about either when it comes to certain,
Yes.
in the industry. And so it just makes it, you feel more comfortable and you feel heard, which is
Yeah.
huge.
It's so, so important because just like you said, otherwise you shut down and then what's the point? And I always say, I have zero judgment on where someone is or what their past has been. It doesn't matter. You don't need to drag that, that baggage behind you. Some people come in with one suitcase of shame and some people come in with semi-loads. And I'm just like, leave it because it's not going to do you any good. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter where you've been. All that matters is where you are now and where you want to go. And
And
let's work to get there.
Yeah, and let's get out of it because you can't get out of
God,
it. You can't fix it.
exactly.
You bury your head forever, you're
Correct.
not going to fix it. You
That's
can't,
correct.
please. You got to move
Yeah.
forward and do the right things. So,
Yeah. I love it. So tell me what keeps you up about money right now?
oh, goodness. Honestly, just right now, I feel like every single dime is allocated for something because we're trying to grow. And I think too, what a lot of people don't realize is that when you are in growth, you tend to, you tend to spend more before you're actually making more. So that stuff gets me like super worked up when things are tight.
Yep.
I really want to be able to have, a savings with the business so that I can do bigger things
Right.
and just isn't like that large chunk of money sitting around right now.
Yeah. Yeah. There is the cost to growth, but it's also understanding the path that you're on is getting you to that next level. One mistake that I see people make frequently is they're on the path to growth. They achieve the growth, but they don't have the intention for the next piece. And so the money just continues to flow out the holes that are already in the bucket, right? And they have to grow and grow and grow and grow, but never actually recoup.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
super,
I can see that. And you say that now I'm like, I need to look at that.
right? Yeah, exactly. And again, it's both on the business side and the personal side where I call it lifestyle creep, right? Where we're earning more. And so then we go out and do the things that we've always wanted to do, but we don't really control it on an intentional basis to say, okay, is this something that really fills my heart with what it is that I want both now and in the future? And I think all of us have been in the position where, oh my gosh, I really want this thing, whatever it is. It's a car or it's a, piece of furniture, or it's expensive shoes, whatever that is. And you buy it. And a week later, you're like, didn't fill that hole. Now I've got this other thing out there that I want. And so we're looking to fill the hole instead of really being intentional with where we're putting our dollars in a space that really does fill us up.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I see that a lot. I can definitely say, and my husband jokes, he says I'm a money hoarder. I have like the opposite problem.
Yes. 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 Well, that's a whole nother conversation about, I call it lazy money. Make sure
Okay.
that lazy money is actually doing something for you.
Right. Making money. Yes.
Correct.
We're funny with that because I'm always like, no, I'm moving this into this high yield savings because it's going to earn me, versus the 2.5. But I
Love it. Love it. That's great.
rather just not.
Yeah. So as we wrap, what would be the number one piece of advice that you would give to our listeners just about money in general?
Oh, wow. About money in general.
Or a piece of advice you wish someone had told you about money?
Honestly, I think that all of us are born with, I think it's generational, like money concepts of money. I think really diving into where you sit with how you feel about money, what you really believe about money, the things you've been told about money, because if you know it or not, if you realize it or not, it is shaping the way you view money and it will keep you in one space. I think people have misconceptions of having lots of money. They think that people who have a lot of money aren't necessarily good or right? And so
Absolutely.
therefore they energetically keep themselves having the things that they want.
Yes.
And this is what I always tell, especially like my younger team, is money and talking about money is not bad. You want to talk about money.
Yes.
It's not about wanting more money. It's about wanting more freedom,
Absolutely.
because that's what money is to me.
Yeah.
Money's freedom. You can want all the time off in the world. You can want all the vacations you want in the world, but if you don't have money, you're not going to get those things.
That's right.
And if you want to give back to people and do all these other wonderful things, you're not going to be able to without money.
Right.
Because if you're working for your own money, it's all a cycle. So I think honestly, digging deep and getting real with yourself and seeing all sides of things and talking about money more instead of making it such a bad thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Anytime people bring up money, if you watch the room, you see people squirm. You see people who are really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And those are usually the people who are successful.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, you know?
Yeah. It's really funny. When I transitioned out from being a salon owner and a stylist, you know how when you're behind the chair and you're in the grocery store and you run into somebody in the grocery store and they're like, oh my gosh, what should I do with my hair? Right. And they want advice right in that very minute.
Yes.
And they all want to talk to you about it. When I transitioned to being in the financial services world and becoming an advisor, and I would walk up to somebody and, they'd say, oh, what are you doing now? And I'd tell them, and they would like run the other way. And it was so different. I was like, what is happening? I don't understand. Everybody wanted to talk to me before. Now nobody wants to talk to me. That's why nobody wants to talk about money. And the thing of it is, it's just a tool. We all need it. Right. And it can enrich our lives literally in so many ways. And it's accessible for all of us. So why don't we just talk about it?
It's true. No, it's true. And I've noticed the same thing, so I think more people are just uncomfortable with that conversation. And I think that the more uncomfortable you are, the more you tend to bury it and ignore it. And so then nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right. Yeah. I love it. Totally.
I always say that. And I always say, what got me here will not get me there.
Love it. Love it. Yep, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your vulnerability, Misty, and your willingness to come on and have the conversations and share the things that people don't want to talk about. I know that it has been wonderful for our listeners, wonderful for me, and I just appreciate you spending the time with us. We will also link in our show notes your socials so that people can check out all the cool things that you're doing at Harlow. And I just so appreciate the time.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was really a lot of fun. It really was. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Misty.
Thank you.
You bet.